It's being described as the Kiwi Crush. A record number of New Zealanders are arriving in Australia and thousands are doing it with cash handouts from their own government. Damien Hansen reports on a pay-to-leave scheme that Australians want ditched.
Government's been trying for ages to stop the flood of New Zealanders coming to Australia, and they still don't get it.
Somebody needs to take accountability for this free flow and the repercussions of that.
Out of work, on a plane and over here. It's the outrageous unemployment policy turning Australia into a dumping ground for out-of-work Kiwis.
It's not fair to have a situation where we have no effective control.
In a land where the dole queue is stretching longer than the white cloud, the unemployment rate has hit 7.3%. So instead of paying job seekers the dole, the New Zealand government's been shelling out for one-way tickets across the ditch. The scheme has come under fire this week in the New Zealand Parliament. It's not being well received here either.
If we simply allowed New Zealanders to have access to our social security system, then pretty much anyone who was unemployed in New Zealand would be wanting to come here and able to come here.
In the past 5 years, 170,000 New Zealanders have left their homeland for a slice of heaven here in Australia. Labor MP Kelvin Thomson says that's too many.
I think we should renegotiate the agreement to put in place a cap.
500,000 Kiwis have received the Transition to Work grant since the scheme was rolled out in 2007. Individuals can receive up to 1,500 New Zealand dollars once a year in job placement assistance. That's more than enough for a one-way ticket to Oz. 4BC Drive announcer Gary Hargraves.
There's always going to be moments where if you're in Australia, you think you can get a better gig over in Auckland, you'll head over there, and vice versa. I don't think any of that's going to stop ever.
Every single day, more than 100 New Zealanders, 56,000 so far this year, take the 3-hour flight across the Tasman looking for a better life in Australia. But for an increasing number, what they're finding here is anything but.
We get on average 40 inquiries a day here, and over 70% of those inquiries are from New Zealanders.
Vicky Vaha is coordinator of the Narang Neighbourhood Centre on Queensland's Gold Coast. She assists Kiwis desperately needing to go back home.
We're not citizens. We have a special category visa that allows us to work and live here. But if things go wrong, there's no support here.
New Zealanders living in Australia cannot access the full range of Centrelink payments. They can't get New Start or Youth Allowance, the parenting payment, nor the special benefit or sickness allowance. They're not eligible either for HECS.
They've been here since they were toddlers, but they're not actually Australians, and they're not feeling like a New Zealander either.
These kids need to take it up with their parents because their parents came to Australia knowing what the rules were. One of the rules were no access to HECS.
At Pacific Pines and Upper Coomera here on the northern end of the Gold Coast, somewhere between 14 and 16% of the population was born in New Zealand. Here at this particular school, renowned for its rugby league prowess and for producing NRL superstar Benji Marshall, a staggering 60% of students are Polynesian.
Upper Coomera State College, 42%. Palm Beach, Currumbin, 42%. Both of those two schools have over 3,000 students. It's huge.
Vicky says, sadly, until the message gets through, more and more Kiwis will leave New Zealand misinformed and ill-prepared for a new life in Australia.
Have a backup plan, have money in the bank account, have a return ticket.
Now to